Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan, joined once again by Attack Power.
Good morning, good evening, and good day. Super excited to be here with the legendary Vulcan.
Thanks. In this video I have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Onord and Underthesea in the semi-finals of Season 7 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Kostritsa, and on our left in the red playing on the allied side we have Onord using the Task Force 45 once again with the Maverick deployment type, and on our right in the blue, also on the allied side, we have Underthesea using the first infantry. I think it's the first infantry and the first Polish infantry, and the Maverick deployment type. What do you think about these?
Well,
I know you had an opinion about Onord playing the Task Force 45 again.
before the video started, Vulcan and I were talking about the league process. For those who don't play, you do a whole banning process where each player gets to ban 5 divisions, kind of like alternating back and forth. And for me personally, when someone plays a division in the first game, I just kind of assume they're not going to do it again because that's kind of lame and like, what the heck, man? So I'm not going to lie, this would have kind of annoyed me immensely if I was Underthesea. And that's no hate on Onord. You can do whatever you want. You play to win. And Task Force 45 is very strong. So the fact that Underthesea left him to pick it again, I mean, that's kind of on him. He's playing the first Polish infantry, not even going to try. A very strong division, especially on Maverick, a very popular one currently. You can see already he's got a nice PTRS rush kind of built in there. For those who don't know, a PTRS rush is basically when you try to drive your PTRSs up really far, deep into the enemy lines early to pick off transports and basically cripple their early assault.
Yeah, so I think Underthesea, I kind of, in response to the whole Task Force 45, I thought Underthesea maybe felt comfortable leaving the Task Force 45 open and feels like maybe he can defeat it with the first Polish infantry, but we'll have to wait and see. Over on the left-hand side for Onord, at the start he's got bunch of converted gunners, a couple UK, a couple US, ammo and pioneers and cavalry scouts. Further down we're going to be seeing a couple 50 cals with the ammo and pioneers for recon across the open, with a couple T-70s there looking to control the open ground with the M15 to cover them early on. Into the town, going to be a couple more 50 cals with converted gunners, and also an M8 in there. On the very bottom side we're going to be seeing cavalry scouts and another 50 cal. On the side of Underthesea,
Very light on.
Sorry.
Very light on the bottom. I'm sorry, I'm just very, very light on the bottom there.
Yeah, on the side of Underthesea, plenty of these PTRSs like you mentioned. There's an actual ton of them. He's got 2 on the top side, and he's adding all of these Flamer squads, the Miotaz Ognia, with the 2 basically tankos behind them. He's in the middle, he's got the machine guns with the Zis 3 to cover the open ground with the 37mm AA. Both players opting for AA early on after the first game where we saw that was quite prevalent. Yeah.
To the debacle in the first game.
1 PTRS and Strati for the middle at the moment. 4 PTRS on the bottom side with the 2 BO10Ms and the 2 Descents there.
Yeah, so this opening kind of actually favors Underthesea this time. He should be able to beat Onord to the front line. So honestly, every time I start a game, I'm always thinking, who's going to win the race to the front line? It really, in 1v1, it really matters because it lets you establish your position. It basically determines the flow of phase A, whether you're going to be on the attack to recapture flags or you're going to be on the defense to, or you've already captured them because of the early push and you're trying to hold on to what you captured early.
Yeah, and if you manage to get into, say, a building before your opponent does, then they're pushing into heavy cover while they're in no cover, and vice versa if you don't make it in time. So it does definitely make a huge difference for some of these sort of center areas, particularly, for example, this town on the bottom side where there's a couple of contested flags, and if Underthesea can make sure he gets in there and stops Onord from pushing into him, then that's going to put him in a nice position for the rest of the game.
We have a little message here. You hadn't played for 2 weeks. I only won because I am not. Oh. Yeah, for those who don't know,
I'm 99% bad. He's 100% bad.
Yeah. There's a running joke in the Discords of specifically Underthesea, who's also known as UUU, calling himself a bad player, which he is clearly not. He's one of the best players in the world at the game. And he's constantly saying he's bad. So just know if you ever run into this guy in quick play and he says I'm a bad player, he's lying. Very badly lying.
I mean, he's been in the final twice now
Yes.
in the previous 2 seasons.
He's lying horrendously. Do not believe him. You, or Under the Sea, whatever he's calling himself that day. Don't buy his crap.
Yeah. I mean, in this game, you know, he is 1-0 down. As I mentioned before, he was in the final of the previous 2 seasons, but unfortunately wasn't successful in either of those. So, I mean, he has extra motivation to win this one. We'll see if he can. PTRSs, looks like one's going to be trying to sneak down the bottom side here. I always like checking out the orders on some of these, and you can see he's given it a unload, or like a fast move order, to move order, to unload a position order, all the way down the bottom side of this map early on.
Well, and what Under the Sea doesn't know is that Onord has essentially given up this bottom side to him. He's got 2 units coming in, and only one of them holds the line. Like, if that machine gun accidentally dies in some way or like gets caught out, there's nothing there. I see 2 converted gunners coming down here, so I guess there'll be not be nothing. But that's really surprising to me to have that little coming down here.
Yeah, these PTRS, there is a lot invested in them, and I think they're going to have to try and find some kills here on these M8s if they can. But in the mid, things are getting pinned down very fast right now by one of these 50 cows.
Yeah, these 50 cows are really powerful. And they're much stronger than what is essentially a Maxim. You know, on the poles side here, this is not a good start for him.
I think on the top, you know, things are looking all right though. The flamers coming in there, getting a pretty good position there in the heavy cover. It's going to be hard for the Confederate gunners to push into 4 squads of flamers, but yeah, the mid is just getting chewed up still.
Yeah, that's not going super well, to be sure. Down south, of course, he's the only one with troops essentially, so he should have a fine time pushing through this flagless area down here in the forest. The problem is if he totally crumbles in the middle here, that could actually be really bad news. Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting, like Under the Sea, he's put these descents in here. If he just keeps moving, you know, eventually, you know, he's not going to have to, he's going to realize there's not too much there. The converted gunners are coming in now though, and that might be a reason why Onord didn't really invest too much on the bottom side, because he knows that he's got plenty of time to bring in more reinforcements on the bottom side after the start should he need to. But the T-70s there taking out the machine guns in the mid, and already Onord has control of this open ground.
Yeah, and Under the Sea's kind of a hard time getting back into it because he doesn't have a lot of, you know, long-range firepower in terms of armor or even AT. So beating out these T-70s and stuff is going to be a tall order for him. He's about to lose his 37 mil here if he's not really careful.
Yeah, what do you think about the first Polish as a solution against the Task Force 45? What do you think he can use here in order to get an advantage?
I mean, this wouldn't have been my first choice. What he definitely needs to do is take advantage of his stronger close range CQC infantry. Like, he needs to be able to use those to beat Onord's converted gunners. I mean, the converted gunners are strong close range, but they're not dedicated close range infantry, so he should be able to beat them.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think he's really got to try to take advantage of his really strong air force, which we've seen none of yet. So that's
the
going to be dangerous.
Yeah, the IL-2s are a big part of the first Polish infantry. That's what makes them basically a better Churin, is that he does have the IL-2s available. There is also, of course, the T-34s that we haven't really seen much of. One's coming in on the bottom side now to support at sort of the medium range, but needs to be careful it doesn't get caught out by this cavalry scout that's trying to dodge all of Under the Sea's units right now.
Yeah, and I mean, the issue for the T-34s is they're not going to help him in the middle where he needs help most right now. These T-70s should be able to bully those really easily.
Yeah, if he micros his T-70s well, which I expect he would, being a top-tier player, the T-34s won't stand a chance. The only way that he's going to be able to take care of the T-70s is potentially an AT ambush, but these Hammer and Pioneers taking care of that ZIS-3 as they are pushed way far up.
Yeah, and I mean, his other option would be some sort of air attack, but there's already an M15 there to kind of secure the air cover early, which, I mean, Onord knows he needs to do to contain Under the Sea's Air Force.
Yeah, so decent positioning on the bottom side for Under the Sea. On the top side, it looks like these Flamer squads have started to be picked apart as well. So it's not looking great there at the moment. The mid is just like a wall of 50 cows walking forwards, just obliterating anything they find, with the converted gunners there to hold the ground. And this Streltsy do have like the 9 SVTs double DP, which do make them relatively effective at sort of the medium range, but I think the numbers on like in these converted gunners is just so great that when they hit all at once, they can really do a lot of damage. But see that converted gunner there getting chewed up in the open.
Yes, you can. I mean, they're like any other infantry. If they're not placed in cover and they're not, you know, in their defensive spots, they're gonna die quickly like any other unit. But the fact of the matter is, for 20 points they outperform significantly how much you're paying for them.
So it looks like Underthesea is investing even more armor into this bottom side. Second T-34E on the way. T-70. They're going to both pass right next to these cavalry scouts. And that bazooka is primed and ready to go.
Well, and this time it looks like Onord fixed his earlier problem and added some Shermans to his A phase. So he does have those. Right now the scout's going to end up picking off this T-70, which is lucky because obviously the T-34 is a little bit more valuable than the T-70 is. Although they might cross in the night here.
Yeah, looks like they just about passed. That was kind of lucky there for Underthesea. But the BA-10M did go down to the M4A1. T-34E did get a penetration in. IL-2 now coming in as well.
It's being flanked. It's got the T-34E and the BA-10, and they managed to take it out. Very effective use of that pincer.
Yeah, very nice. IL-2 not even needed in the end on that bottom side. I'm surprised to not see maybe an attempt at the mid after that failed, but the M15, of course, is there, and I expect that Underthesea has seen that and now definitely knows it's there after being fired at the Folgore, looking to get the kill. IL-2.
Should be able to get out. It's been flying forever.
Yeah, it does feel like it does just about get out in time, and the AA is going to force it back off the second
one. It might
one.
actually kill it if it flies over it like it's doing right now. There's a chance.
Yeah, would need to land a nice couple shots. So far, so good, though. No oil leak there.
Yeah.
On the bottom side, Underthesea going in hard with his Streltsy, the T-70. With the M4 going down, that does give him a good opportunity to move forwards with his armor quite aggressively. But he just needs to make sure that these converted gunners don't kill off all of his infantry that's supporting his tanks, because that could leave him in a bit of a pickle.
Well, and he needs to, because if you look up north, it's a wall of red. The north has basically completely folded. And the center is, of course, I mean, I see a column of U.S. gunners running, converted gunners going down the center here, too.
Yep, that 45mm has a lot of work to do. It's got 2 M8 Scots, 350 cows, 2 T-70s in its way. If that peaks for even a moment, it's dead. The Streltsy in the town are now getting picked off as well a little bit there. So, yeah, Underthesea definitely needs to make this bottom side push work. And if he can maybe cut off the reinforcements down here a little bit by getting far enough up, then maybe he can secure a couple of flags and kind of counteract the push that Onord's made so far. Because the further that Onord gets forwards here, it actually makes it easier for Underthesea to counter some of this armor, because he's going to be able to fight in the close range where his infantry will succeed.
Now, he just lost his 37mm. For some reason, his 45mm is not shooting. I don't know if he's, like, altering its target over and over again. Got a turret stuck on the T-70. He needed that desperately, but it's probably going to die here now to all the Scots. Oh, great Scott.
The 45mm, I think, potentially he was turning off the APCR. Either that or it was targeting something else, and he right-clicked one of the T-70s to get rid of those, because they are high-value targets on the side of the Task Force 45. They're so good. They aim quickly, they fire nice and fast.
Got another chance here, but it is still on APCR. The second 45mm, and Onord decides to wisely fall back from that other 45. He's also lost basically all the presence in the main town here. He's got one Strelky coming in to fight 5 converted gunners, and it just insta-dies.
It got popped, immediately in its transport. Zis-3 did manage to take out the other T-70, so nice little AT ambush there. But the infantry is hot on the tail of that Zis-3. The Ammo and Pioneers
takes out
up.
a Scot. Not very nice.
Yeah, taking away the pieces of the puzzle here, it'll slowly allow Underthesea to put pressure on again with his medium armor.
But it is a 16-8, so he's got a long way to go to supply pressure, and he's about to lose. He just lost an infantry down to that cavalry scout.
Yep. There's 2 infantry going down there.
Second one, yep. And I have a feeling he probably hasn't noticed, because your attention is on the front. So you're like, didn't I call a reinforcement in at some point? And you realize it never showed up, and then you're like, oh no.
He's definitely
Yes.
got bigger problems on his hands right now than losing
Yup.
a couple of infantry on the bottom side. Like, the AT gun got surrendered there. The AT gun of Underthesea on that flag is going to get pinned. He's going to lose the flag because of that. So it's now a 17. It'll be 17-7. That's not good at all.
No. These T-70s are trying to supply some support because truthfully there's not actually any armored support in the center anymore. He killed all that armored stuff. So really, if he can wisely use this T-34 and these T-70s, he has a chance of throwing back. Now, if these M8s kill his T-70s, that would be a very sad day for him. But he did take out an M8, so there's a chance he could turn this around potentially in the center with his armor.
Yeah, both of the M8s might go down there. It's a very close engagement. One of the T-70 is dead. But yeah, the T-34s have a great opportunity here to push for back because none of the converted gunners have any AT. Like, with the Task Force 45, you're so dependent on the cavalry scouts for the bazooka. So a lot of this infantry, if it's not supported by armor, can get overrun very quickly due to the nice buff to the machine guns on tanks recently. I say recently.
Yeah,
it was a little while ago now.
Even the universal carrier here is doing a lot of work suppressing. Now up north, another huge column of troops pressing into that north, and there's just not a lot to stop him. He's got two T-34s coming in, which is a bold call for such a tight forest area, but I guess there's not a lot of AT to worry about. If this IL-2M can land well, it would really help him a lot. Oh no, is it gonna miss?
Straight through the middle. That is unfortunate for Underthesea. Oh, it just thread the needle straight through the middle of the M4 and the M8. I think that was mainly due to Onord dodging that. I don't think, Underthesea had any real eyes on it, so it was kind of like guessing based on previous information. IL-2 is going to be able to stop the Volgor from going for the other IL-2.
Now, it might, I mean, if it can actually, no, he's dipping and dodging too much. He could have, if they had headed on, he'd probably win. Don't head on your fighters against IL-2s, new people. Do not head on an IL-2.
Oh, and Underthesea's let the Volgor get round on the back of him. That is a big mistake. IL-2 will maybe go down here. The 50 cals might just finish the job. And the M15 is also getting its 37 mil on target. Those things are absolute tanks.
19.5. Sorry, you just don't see it very often. 18.6, 19.5. You do not see a triple tick very often.
Yeah, I mean, just that start was so devastating. And you see that all of this armor that's here is just running riot through the converted gunners right now, but it's just not really mattering because all of the infantry that Underthesea had just is non-existent anymore.
Well, and there's just so many of them. He pins down 2 or 3. There's 4 more still standing there.
Oh, IL-2 comes in for the bombing strike on the cavalry scout and completely misses on the bottom side as well. It's just going from bad to worse now for Underthesea.
M4A1 taking out his T-70 and now targeting that T-34. He's trying to fall it back. This is kind of a awkward. This is always an awkward confrontation. T-34 versus Sherman. Yeah,
the T-34 benefits from being closer. The M4 tends to do better at range.
But he turned his side.
Fire.
He turned his side armor, which allowed that first penetration. Now the second one, and now that is gone as well.
Yeah, rate of fire is also a problem at close range, I suppose. The M4A1 just blitz in that. On the top side, we do have these Sappergy rocks. These guys are pretty great.
But if they walk out to the M8 Scott, that is just instantly pinning them down, then they are not very effective.
Yeah. But against the converted gunners, they'd be okay. The T-34s have got to deal with that M8 Scott. They missed both of those shots so far, which is not good.
There it is.
Eventually take it out. But yeah, the 19 is just... 19 flags not getting any better. He loses another unit of infantry in the center of the map. The Kostritsa and the Sappergy are managing to push through on the bottom finally with the cavalry scouts pushed off, but
he's even lost his position down south and he just calls the game there.
Yeah, that was a rough one for Underthesea. I think the divisional matchup there relied so heavily on airplay again from the first Polish, which was basically guaranteed to not be able to do against Task Force 45. And the other thing was obviously the medium armor. Again, is something that can make the first Polish very aggressive, if you rely a lot on the T-34s and push forwards. But again, countered kind of in the early game by the M10s and the T-70s. So that was really, really tough time for him.
Yeah, and looking at the KD here, kill death, it was almost 3-1. Onord just, I mean, he just manhandled him. It was tough to watch trade wise. Oh my goodness, if you look at the kills,
yeah,
oh
1,395 kills, 505 losses, and then the T-70 just ripping through a bunch of stuff. The cavalry scouts getting plenty of kills.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't think it actually should have gone that poorly for Underthesea's infantry. His infantry are very strong. The first Polish infantry are very, very solid. They have a lot of semi-automatic rifles. They have a lot of machine guns. They are good infantry, but they just did not stack up when you're going 2v1 versus those converted gunners all the time.
The other thing is there was a lot riding on the PTRS play, but they got no kills. And then the Flamers, they got no kills. and then all of those machine guns, and they got like countered by the 50 cows, right? So there was a lot of situations there where like I say they got no kills, like they got not as many kills as they should have got, right?
They got no significant kills. And I think the reason Onord won this game was not actually the divisions or even that he outplayed Underthesea. Honestly, it was more of a macro victory. He made a really bold choice to push down the center, which on this map, not many people do. It's very rare to see people push the center open ground. It's usually a fight on the south on that forest, the north on that little forest patch up there, and in the town in the middle, not over that open ground. And Onord took a huge gamble and plowed down the center, and it paid off so much.
Yeah, but yeah, once again, Underthesea just no value out of any of his units at all. The initial start was just devastating. It really was devastating. It was just like, I think Underthesea didn't really play it as though he was up against Task Force 45, which is strange because he just played it. So I don't know. It feels like a bit of a hiccup there for Underthesea, and that's unfortunate because that means it is 2-0 to Onord, and Onord is going to be moving on to the final to play off against Gonzo, of all people.
Well, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Underthesea for making it to the semifinals. I know I didn't get anywhere close myself to that, so I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, commiserations to Underthesea. He is a great player, even if he says he isn't. This time not making it to the final, but making it to the semi-final is still pretty damn good. So
this will be his reason. He's going to say, oh, well, I never win, so I'm bad.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
Nope.
All right, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Again, congratulations to Onord for moving on to the final. Underthesea, commiserations, knocked out of this one. We might see a third place game. I'm not sure if there was one played, but that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Have a fantastic day.
Yeah, bye.